Good morning, everyone. As part of our reentry plan coming into the school year, we felt it was important to address health and wellness on a regular basis. And as you know, decided on the daily wellness checks at the beginning of each day. In doing so, we recognized our basic needs, such as simply feeling safe or being threatened. And we thought if this is the case, how are we going to address this? So we included in our activities the 5 dimensions of wellness: safety, social, emotional, physical, and intellectual wellness. With this in mind, the team before you met every Thursday at 12 o'clock and made the activities that began with self-awareness and self-management and moved to social awareness and interpersonal skills, and finally to decision-making in a community context. So here they are: Ms. Aitchison, Dr. Green, Mr. Nasser, and Mr. Sanasier. First of all, thank you. It wasn't an easy job for sure. And thank you all for being here to share what your intentions were when we started this last August and what your reflections are now. So I have a question for each of you. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Sanasier. What were your fears coming into this year, and how did they motivate you to join this initiative?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank this group for working together in planning a full year of wellness for our school community. I've learned a lot and grown a lot from each of you working with you. If I go back to last summer, I had a lot of apprehension and anxiety about what the school year was going to look like, what we were coming back to. And that's very uncharacteristic for me. And as I began to speak with colleagues, they were feeling the same. If teachers are anxious and apprehensive, that doesn't necessarily equate to effective teaching. And if there's anything that we know about the classroom, when teachers are stressed and suffering from anxiety, that's going to be felt by students and the school climate as a whole. So those concerns were on top of, or in addition to, countless numbers of students and staff that had been negatively impacted by the pandemic. Economically, they might have lost loved ones, and so on and so forth. So I knew that students and staff alike needed an opportunity for wellness, and I'm glad that I joined.
Great, thank you. Dr. Green, when you signed up for this, what did you hope to accomplish?
Well, I mean, just like, with teaching in general, my hope is to just help students, really, to help them to learn. And in this case, to helping with wellness, for me, it's a very personal thing. It's, my childhood and teen years weren't easy. And so I have a lot of empathy for teenagers and their struggles in general, and especially now. And then at the Depot, we spend a lot of time with social emotional learning at the Depot. And so I've had the opportunity to get involved in designing lessons and working with kids over here on these sorts of things. And then even just myself, this is a very important part of my life, right now, doing these things like meditation and different practices we've been talking about. And so I look forward to the opportunity to share these things with students and staff, and hopefully, to try to help people out a little bit. And I hope that was the case. And along the way, it's been a blast. As Sean said, it really has been a lot of fun. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I think that speaks to how some activities landed with certain people and didn't with others. As individuals, we all have our own path. Mr. Nasser, can you describe what it was like creating something from nothing and what pressures you felt along the way?
Yeah, sure. So definitely the feeling was excitement in a sense, because we were creating something brand new. And it was something that was helpful, with a helpful goal, for the personal well-being. Obviously, at a time that was most needed, So although there's freedom in that, right? So there's freedom when you don't have a specific preset guideline. So you have freedom to follow your own ideas to achieve this goal, but there's always the concern that comes with that, that we might miss the mark somehow. So sometimes when you have a thought about something, that this is your perception. So the biggest, I think, learning moments for me, and I think for all of us, was listening and seeing the feedback that we got from the target audience, like our students and our staff directly, and the surveys that were sent out. That those were really helpful to see how we can reflect and make this even a better exercise moving forward. And honestly, the highlight for me was when the other the student groups themselves started to take part in creating slides and creating and taking part in this wellness initiative to help out their peers and become a part of it. So it started taking on this life and grew. So to me, that was kind of telling me that maybe we are at least going closer to the goal that we had started out to get. So and being part of this group is definitely was a pleasure and such a positive environment. So I'm hoping that we could have shared some of that with the rest of the school.
Great, thank you very much. Ms. Aitchison, now to you. Please share your reflections on the wellness checks this year. What did you like? What do you wish we could have done differently?
Yeah, so very simply, I like that we chose to commit to this process, because with Canvas, a new system, with the pandemic, we had a lot of different things that we could have focused on and put our effort into. But this group decided to really give our time and effort to wellness and to focus on students' social emotional learning and their wellness inside and outside of school. So I think it's important that we gave this time when we were already so pressed for time. And what I hope that wish that we had more of and hope for the next year is that, we have more input from the students. I loved, like Mr. Nasser said, I loved when the students from different clubs and groups contributed to the wellness checks and made their own wellness checks. So I hope that can be something that happens more in the future, maybe that all of the wellness checks are really something that comes from the students and what students define as their needs. And hopefully this can become more of a school culture than just a 15-minute check-in where we're all just comfortable talking about how we feel and what we feel, and we can connect with each other and check in with each other. So very grateful for this group and grateful for the work that we did together and what we learned together. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you. And I'm grateful to have you as a team. I really enjoyed these Thursday meetings. And yes, we did take risks, as did the teaching staff who implemented these plans. We know it wasn't always comfortable, but you did it and we appreciate it. And at the very least, we're having regular discussions about health and wellness at E.O. Smith. So I think we've established a pretty solid foundation here. So thank you all, students and staff. We do have one more survey. Please use the remaining time to fill out the survey, which is on the bottom of the slide. Your input is valuable as we strive to promote health and wellness at EO moving forward. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.